Hi there, my name is Emmy Huddleston, and I am a trained clinical herbalist. I found herbal medicine through having a lot of anxiety and found Bask through different avenues like music and creativity and just loving nature. So here I am, and we're going to make some tea today. So we are making a tea with 4 simple herbs. And when it comes to herbal formulation, I generally try not to go over 7 just to really give each plant a lot of space within the formula. We have here some crowd favorites. We've got lemongrass for kind of a citrusy flavor. We've got the lavender. We have chamomile. And last but not least, passionflower. Now, all of these herbs are very supportive to the nervous system and it being calm and relaxed. Just to go through each one a little bit here, you can see roughly the ratios we have. So we've got most of this tea, the leading herbs are going to be the lemongrass and the lavender, followed then by chamomile and passionflower. And we'll kind of go into the reasoning behind who's leading and who is following. So when it comes to herbal formulation, the plants that are your leading herbs are going to be the ones that are a little bit more powerful in that formula and kind of take on more of the stronger personality of the whole tea. I have blended this particular formula for Bask here to be largely very calming and anxiolytic, calming to anxiety and just the overall body. Here we have lemongrass, which is going to be the one that is the most strong in the tea. Its Latin name is Cymbopogon citratus. It is largely antimicrobial and antifungal. Helps to relax the body's muscular system very lightly. Also called antispasmodic, which can extend into the digestive system as well, calming any sort of like gas or bloating. It's also very supportive to the detoxification pathways, specifically with the kidneys being a light diuretic, which means it kind of helps to move water through the body. It's very nicely antioxidant, bringing a lot of really great detoxification things along with just being very highly calming. Next we have lavender. Everybody loves it. Its Latin name is Lavandula angustifolia. Its main actions are going to be like very calming to the nervous system overall. It's got a little bit of that bitter flavor, which is going to help with detoxification as well. It has a little bit more of like an uplifting or vital stimulant sort of action where it kind of wakes the body up very lightly while also being very calming. So it's a nice plant to add in to a leading herb situation and within a tea that is going to be a little bit more sedative, just to make sure that if you drink some after lunch that you're not going to pass out. Next down the line we have chamomile. Chamomile, for the most part, it's a good friend to everybody. It's very gentle, very calming to the digestive system. It is also a bitter tonic, so you've got that sort of bitter flavor that's going to hit a little bit later the longer that it steeps. It's got a really nice floral flavor. It's mildly vulnerary, which means that it's wound healing. So when it touches the lining of your stomach and your intestines on the way down, it's going to help tone and tighten those tissues and really assist with the digestive system and detoxification pathways while also continuing that kind of calm role. And last but not least, we have passionflower. Passionflower is our herb that is going to be the least strong within the formula. However, it is the most sort of sedative. It is directly going to help with assisting from going from the state of awake into sleep. Now, it's at the smallest amount in this formula because, again, I don't want anybody passing out if they have some tea at lunch. But if you have some of this tea before bed, it's really going to assist you really nicely into a calm sleep. Passionflower is native in Tennessee, and its Latin name is Passiflora incarnata, and it is mildly pain relieving as well as being antispasmodic again, so those muscles are going to relax very lightly. So altogether, this tea is going to be very calming and relaxing to the nervous system first and foremost, as I've said about 1,000 times. These are all very calming plants. So they support detoxification altogether and will kind of assist into sleep without the feeling of grogginess. Additionally, we've got a little bit of that musculoskeletal relaxation and just overall digestive support and detoxification support. So that's our tea formula here. Simple and very chill, and just really assisting with the process of grounding and relaxing here at Bask, which is already very easy to do. All right, so next we're going to look at what it looks like to actually blend these all together and then make tea from it. And just so everyone is aware, it's a great idea first to talk to your practitioner about what herbs are or aren't right for you. Generally speaking, this tea is going to be not safe for women that are pregnant or maybe pregnant. And because it is sedative, it is better not to utilize this particular tea if you are on sedative medications or MAOI inhibitors, just to make sure that there are no interactions with drugs. So we are going to mix together all of these herbs we just talked about here, and we're going to make the formula itself. And then we're going to look at what it looks like to brew the tea in a couple of different ways. So the things you'll need to make a tea formula, what we're using today, is a clean and sterilized bowl for mixing, a scale, your herbs, and then you want to have an amount for each herb cut out for your formula figured out ahead of time. So we already have that all figured out here. We're going to put the herbs in together based on their measured parts, and then we'll show you what it looks like to brew the tea. So first things first, we're going to take our lemongrass. We are going to do four parts lemongrass, which today for us is going to look like about 40 grams. And then next up we have lavender. You're going to zero your scale. So we're doing our 2 leading herbs first here. All right. Next up, chamomile. So this tea is going to have a very floral forward flavor, and then with that lemongrass, really nice and citrusy. And then on the back half of the tea, you'll really get those bitter flavors that are going to help support the liver and the detoxification pathways in the body. And this is a really nice tea to have with honey. If you like bitter flavors, that's a wonderful thing. You'll love it. It's very lightly bitter, so very, very floral, bitter, citrus, and with a little bit of honey, it's going to taste really, really great. We're going to blend this together now here. You can use a spoon or you can use some tongs. I'm going to go with these fancy tongs today because I like the way they look. And you're just going to lightly mix your herbs so that everything is mixed together very evenly. And when you don't break up the herbs themselves, you're actually going to get a longer lasting tea, just because a lot of these herbs have essential oils in them, and the more that the cell walls are broken apart, the more those essential oils are going to actually come out of the tea or the plant material itself. So you'll actually keep a stronger plant constituent or plant chemical profile the less you break down the plant material over time. So we're going to keep everybody whole today, and then we're going to make some tea with our French press so you can see what it looks like as the water really joins in with those plants and breaks down the cell walls and then starts to seep into the water. And then we have how you will find this tea here at Bask is in a tea bag. These tea bags are very specially chosen to make sure there are no microplastics. They are wood pulp and very clean, natural, and hold the herbs nice and snug. And then they are sealed in airtight packages as to really keep those essential oils together and helping the tea to last a good long time on the shelf. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to make tea with a French press. This is one of the best ways to really make sure you get all of the plant constituents from those plants into the water really effectively and fairly efficiently as well, because you can really press everything at the end. So when you're making tea in a French press, it's great to have a scale with you so that you can really measure out exactly how much plant material you are doing in ratio to your water. You want the water to be at a boiling temperature to really help break up those cell walls and release those plant chemicals into the water so you then can consume them. So we are going to tare the scale here. And when it comes to a French press, this is approximately a quart of water. And to get a really good and medicinal effect from the plants that you're using, you want roughly 28 to 30 grams of plant material. It's going to look like a lot because it is. And we're going to measure that out here. We're going to measure out, like I said, roughly 28 to 30 grams after we've mixed the tea all together. And so it's such beautiful color in it. It smells incredible. So a lot of these plants are, because they are flowers and grasses, they take up a lot more room and they have a lighter weight to them than your average tea with something like roots in it. So as you can see here, this is taking up a lot of space in this French press, which again for flowers is actually very normal. If you have a plant like calendula or a really large flower, you'll find yourself being like, wow, is there going to be room for water in here? So here we are at this 28 gram mark. Again, nice and bulky plant material. You want water at a rolling boil, so nice and hot to really break apart those cell walls. And then you're going to pour the water over the plants. Try to get it nice and even across everybody. And you'll begin to see immediately on French press the extraction happening and the plant material releasing into the water. We'll go ahead and set our scale aside here so you can get a nice view. And then, because a lot of the active chemicals in plants are in the essential oils, it's great to have a cap on whatever you are infusing your plants into water with, whether that's a plate over a teacup or whether that is a lid on a French press. And then we're going to actually let the plants just sit and wander and become friends with the water for the next 10 to 15 minutes here. You want at least 10 minutes. Ideally, once the water has really seeped into all those plant cell walls, the plants themselves will start falling to the bottom. So you can leave this to steep as long as you like. And you'll see when all the cells are waterlogged and fall to the bottom, that's a great time to get the full effect of what you could possibly get out of the tea. We're going to stop it at 10 minutes today, just to kind of keep those bitter flavors a little bit more on the calm side, and drink the tea a little sooner because that just sounds nice. All right, so I just want to make a note as well, just about the fact that when you're making a highly medicinal dose of a formula with that 28 gram to 1 quart of water ratio, that's going to be a lot stronger of a tea when it comes to the effects. So this is a great example of something that you would want to drink throughout the day if you were looking for those medicinal effects. So again, this is going to be roughly 28 grams of herb to 1 quart of water. And then we have the tea bags, which are going to be 2 grams to approximately 8 ounces to 16 ounces of water. I would recommend closer to that 8 ounce mark, or a cup of water. So that ratio is a lot more conducive to a light effect. So this is going to be what you would want to consume before bedtime, or like in the evening, or after lunch, or if you're feeling a little bit anxious. A cup of this with a longer steep time is going to be ideal. This guy is going to really pack a punch. So this is the kind of thing that I would work with a practitioner that's an herbalist more specifically on, or if you really have your chops and you know what you're doing at home, a great way to get a really highly medicinal effect. And then this guy's going to be the more like gentle, friendly friend to make at first before you dive into this world. So now that we have our French press steeping, we're well on our way to having some tea here. We're going to go ahead and start our tea bag. Again, this is going to be a lot smaller dose. Really nice to kind of get those flavors out initially and feel a little bit of those effects. They're going to be calming and really supportive to the nervous system, and a little bit supportive to the digestive system and detoxification. So we're going to pour some boiling water over this guy and let it steep for the same amount of time, about 10 to 15 minutes. When it comes to steeping herbs, generally speaking, the longer steep time, the more amount of herbal constituents or herbal chemicals or phytochemicals, whatever you'd like to call them, the longer amount of time they have contact with the water, the more those compounds will be able to seep into the water, so you'll get a stronger effect. These tea bags specifically are made from wood pulp and have no microplastics. They do have a little bit of a tighter filter because of that. So if you give your tea bag a good bounce, you will get more of those plant chemicals into the water a little more quickly. And then it's always great to have something to cover the top of your teacup, because again, those essential oils are going to be rising up out of the tea once you add the heat. So we're going to cover this guy and we're going to let it steep for about 10 minutes and give everything a try here in a little bit. All right, it's been about 10 minutes, so we are going to pour off this French press tea, and then we will take a look at the comparison of the color between this higher amount of herb to water ratio with a stronger effect that you would use with an herbalist most likely, and then your friendly, everybody's friend sort of tea with the tea bag. Whoa, we're getting a little spill here. One for me and one for Brady here. Cheers. All right, so this guy's got a little bit more time left to keep steeping, but as you can see, the difference in the amount of plant matter is very clear and easy to see here. This is a much more highly medicinal ratio of extraction, or infusion, as the technical term for making tea is an infusion. So this is a more medicinal infusion, and this is kind of your at-home infusion that you'll find with the tea bags. And again, this one's still steeping, so it'll get a little bit darker over time. But this is a really nice tea to add honey to. I really love those bitter notes in there. It's very floral, a little bit bitter, a little bit grassy. But if you've got a honey at home that you want to add to this, it's a really, really great pairing with this tea in particular, to really bring out those more sweeter floral notes. And so just a little bit of wildflower honey, and this guy's gonna taste so nice. And it's actually a little bit better to wait until your drink has cooled down before adding the honey, because when you add honey to high heat, it actually changes the chemical structure slightly, and it's a lot healthier to wait until your drink has cooled down a little bit before adding that sweetness. So here we go. Cheers. Oh, that's so nice. And folks, please do remember, I'm an herbalist, not a licensed medical professional. The information provided in this video today is intended to support your overall health and wellness and is not intended to replace medical advice or treatment. It is important to work with your primary healthcare professional and to inform them of any herbs or supplements you're taking. Herbs may have side effects, cause individual sensitivities, or interact with medications. And it is important to discuss these risks with your healthcare provider.